Hello, I'm Matthew Pospisil. I'm an associate attorney here at George Parnham and Associates, and today I'm going to be talking with you about deferred adjudication. Here in Texas, we have this system called community supervision. Community supervision is basically where the courts allow you to serve your time out on the free world, not taking time in jail or taking time in prison, but allow you to live your life out in the world under the confines of the court system. Typically with probation or deferred adjudication, two options of community supervision, they will impose some conditions on you while you're out there in the free world. Those conditions are typically random drug testing, community supervision, or some sort of anger management or drug rehabilitation class, as well as serving under the confines of the court for that length of period. The differences between probation and deferred adjudication typically arise towards the end of your sentence. When you take a term of probation, you will have a conviction on your record, whereas if you take a deferred adjudication, when you finish that time period up, there will not be a conviction on your record, and in fact, they typically will defer that judgment against you and dismiss that case. One big misconception though with deferred adjudication is that once you are done, your record is clean. That is not true. In fact, with deferred adjudication, although there is no conviction against you, that arrest and charge will still remain on your record unless you go forward and try and get that record sealed. Many offenses that you have been granted deferred adjudication for do qualify for sealing the record through an expungement or non-disclosure order. So because deferred adjudication does not result in a conviction on your record, it's often highly sought after. Now, deferred adjudication is typically offered mostly for first-time offenders, and it is not qualified if you have a conviction or a charge of driving while intoxicated, boating while intoxicated, or other intoxicated offenses. But with deferred adjudication's benefit, there is also a downside to it. If you are on deferred adjudication and you do not abide by the conditions imposed, let's say you get called in for a random drug test and it comes back positive for marijuana or another substance, you can have a motion to adjudicate brought against you. And because taking a deferred adjudication requires a plea of guilty or nolo contendere, the judge will then go forward and assess your punishment range. Now, a part of deferred adjudication, if you do violate those conditions and go before the judge on a motion to adjudicate, the judge can assess the full range of punishment against you. So how does this actually work? A hypothetical for you. Let's say one day George is out at the bar celebrating the Astros. He's had a couple too many. He gets into a small fight at the bar. Next thing you know, George is arrested for a Class A misdemeanor of assault. Well, fortunately for George, he came to the Parnham and Associates law firm and we helped him out. We were able to poke some holes into the prosecution's theory, and George was offered a deferred adjudication for 9 months. That would require George to be on the confines of the court system for 9 months while living out in the free world. Unfortunately for George though, he smoked some marijuana during this time, and sure enough, the prosecutors brought the motion to adjudicate against him. George goes before the judge, and at this point in time, the judge can assess a punishment of up to 1 year in jail. With a Class A misdemeanor like assault, the maximum time of punishment is up to 1 year in jail. So because George was unable to abide by the conditions of deferred adjudication, he then could be sentenced up to the maximum term of punishment up to 1 year. However, if George is able to successfully complete that 9 months of deferred adjudication, at the end of that period, his case will be technically dismissed, and we could then file for an expungement or non-disclosure to seal his record. Thank you.